We've all played a game that has had us frustrated because there seems to be no end and just impossible to complete, but at some point we get the job done. However, there are game endings that have remained a mystery to some, even to this day. Luckily today, we will reveal the game endings that almost no one has ever seen. Pac-Man. Pac-Man is one of the most legendary arcade games created by Japanese company Namco. The player has to eat all the dots in the maze, avoiding the ghosts that are constantly chasing Pac-Man. Each ghost has its own moving behavior, and all move at a slower pace compared to Pac-Man. However, after level 21, the ghosts accelerate and the game becomes more difficult, but still possible to win. According to the developers, Pac-Man has no end. Because of the increased complexity of the game, some players took this as a challenge and were able to pass 255 levels, but in level 256, the game experienced a software error. The one half of the maze is displayed correctly, but the right half is a set of random colored numbers and letters. But many have been able to get past this level as well, after which the game continues on level 1 and the ghost moving at its highest speed, and if you complete this level, then you'll be taken back to the main screen and offered to start over again. Flappy Bird. Created in a couple of days by Dong Hyun, a Vietnamese designer, it was originally called Flap, but there was already a game of that name on the App Store, thus Flappy Bird was born. The game took a while to gain in popularity, but when it did, it skyrocketed. The game, memes, and people's frustrations were shared on social media platforms. This game infuriated people because of how impossible it was to finish the game. So much so that even one player stated that it took them half an hour to score 5 points. Some actually managed to get to the end of the game and revealed that after scoring 999 points, the bird meets Mario and the game ends. Donkey Kong. Another famous arcade game released by Nintendo in 1981, being one of the earliest platform games in history. The objective of the game is to move your character across a range of platforms and jump over obstacles in order to save the damsel in distress from the giant gorilla. The hero and the giant gorilla have become the most famous characters from the game. The developers came up with 3 endings for the game. First, Mario drops the gorilla and is reunited with the damsel. In the second ending, Mario drops the gorilla on himself and dies, and the lady is left alone upstairs. And in the last ending, and most confusing, Mario drops the lady and reunites with the gorilla. Battletoads. Often described as one of the most difficult video games of the 8-bit era, this game had a lot of people stressed. The game was created in order to compete with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, but soon became a completely independent work of art in the 90s. Game reviewers criticized the game for its difficulty, some stating that it was easier destroying the bosses than actually getting to them. The lucky gamers that were able to reach the ending saw the final boss waiting for the heroes at the top of the Dark Tower. After defeating the villain, she declares that this is not the end, then spins and flies into space. After rescuing Princess Angelica, the 4 return to the SS Vulture and the game ends. Tetris. A relatively simple game where blocks are falling from the top of the screen and you have to place blocks in a way in order not to reach the top of the screen. The lower the blocks, the higher the points you get. Sounds simple enough, but many haven't seen the ending of this game. There are 2 endings to this game. In the one, you are greeted by some classic video game characters and a pixel cathedral. The domes of the cathedral fly away somewhere outside the screen. In the other ending, the temple flies away accompanied by cheerful music. After that, you're offered to write your name on the high score list. Duck Hunt. Created in the 90s, this incredibly popular game, selling more than 28 million copies, making it the 2nd best-selling game in history. The objective of the game is to hit the ducks that are flying out of the grass due to the hunting dog. You have 3 bullets to shoot the targets. If you get good enough at it and are able to reach and complete level 99, you return back to level 0 and experience raining ducks. Chrome T-Rex game. We have all experienced the moment when you're trying to open a website and suddenly the internet connection fails. Instead of being frustrated, Chrome has given us a game to pass the time while the connection improves. The game is a 1-player simulation of a pixel dinosaur who runs and dodges obstacles, resulting in points. The dinosaur runs faster and faster as the game continues. It got so popular that it was played 270 million times a month. Just like any game, surely this one also has an ending. But according to a Google user experience engineer, it would take about 17 million years to complete the game. Contra. One of the most legendary games to come out. Contra is a game about fighters saving the world from aliens. They make their way onto the island to destroy the base and save the world. However, the final boss is one difficult task to destroy. But once defeated, the game shows a scene of a helicopter leaving the island, which then the island explodes. After that appears a congratulatory message, which reports that the villains have been destroyed and Earth is saved. Consider yourself a hero. Earthworm Jim. A game about a worm that mutated after finding a special robotic suit is on a mission to defeat enemies that want to get a hold of the suit and save the princess. If you manage to get to the end of the game, you would have seen the princess being squashed by a flying cow, which was launched at the beginning of the game. The mutated worm called Jim goes away in disappointment, and the cow and the princess fall into the lava. But then a few seconds later, Jim returns and takes the gold crown of the princess. Devil May Cry. In this game, you fight against Yuri Zen multiple times, but you're not actually supposed to beat him. These encounters are there to show you how strong the boss is. The first time you encounter him is in the prologue, when you are playing as Nero. At this point, you have no weapons at all, but you can actually beat him, making the game 3 minutes long. When this happens, there is a text saying, "Everything worked out perfectly. This was the ideal outcome." So there you have it. The top 10 game endings no one has seen. We are hopeful for more, just for the fun of it. We hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye for now.